Hello and welcome to the Mad About Ewe YouTube channel. My name is Madeleine and thank you for joining me here today. I am coming to you on it's Saturday, the 14th of November 2020 from Canberra, Australia, where I live, and I'm coming to you from my craft room. What a big few weeks it has been. Personally, globally, in the world, coronavirus is still doing its thing, but in Australia, where our borders are opening up more, which is excellent, I'm going to be able to go home for Christmas. So that's really exciting, and yeah, November 2020. So I'm a little bit more organized this week. I now have a new notebook for the podcast. I have written planned notes for today, and I also have started planning for Vlogmas, and I will talk to you a little bit about that later. If you'd like to find me online in the other corners of the internet, I am Mad About Ewe on Instagram, and I am Madbell on Ravelry, and I spend most of my time on Instagram, probably between the two, but my Ravelry page is up to date with all of my show notes. Not show notes, that's not true. My project notes on my project pages. Yeah, well, I guess I have a few things to talk about today. We might start with a shout out to Naomi of the Yarn Curator podcast on YouTube. She gave me a shout out the other day, and I was so surprised. I had been watching some of my Knit Stars, and she started talking about this. That's a segment that she does, and I was like, oh, I wonder who she's going to talk about today. And then she started describing me. It was such a really lovely surprise. She has some really lovely words today. So I just wanted to say thank you, Naomi, for that. Yeah, it was really lovely, and I do quite enjoy watching her podcast as well. She is, to me, a prolific garment knitter. She has made a few jumpers this year, including a test knit she recently finished, and she knits in Florida in the United States, and I just think that it's super warm there, and that gives me hope for when I move up to Queensland, where it's going to be really warm and humid for at least the summer, and it's still pretty warm over winter as well. So we'll start with that, and moving on to finished objects. I have one finished object today, and this was actually a test knit that I did for Stephanie Anderson of the Simply Bound designs. I have never, well, this is my first ever test knit of a project. And I saw that she was test knitting when Alex of Fiberbound posted on her Instagram, I don't know if it was a comment or stories, that she would love to test knit but didn't have the capacity, and I really probably didn't have it either. But decided that I wanted to give it a go. And this is the Tidal hat. It is an all over cable hat. This is the 6 to 12 month size. I don't actually have any children in my life that are that age at the moment, so I don't really know if it works like true to size, but I met all of the measurements that she says to. It's got a really long brim, which is meant to be folded up, and if I was to knit this again, I might actually still do the double brim, but what I would probably do is attach it before I started to make the cables. So yeah, I really like it. I think it would look cute with a little pom-pom, but I didn't really have enough yarn left over to make a pom-pom, but I think a fake, like a faux fur pom would look really cute. Yeah, so I knit this out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the Blushed Heather colourway. I don't have any left, and I've said on the podcast a couple of times I never swatch for hats, but because it was a test knit, I had to swatch. So that was an interesting and trying experience. So I was originally planning on casting on the hat with this Knit Craft and Knittery Arran weight yarn, but I wasn't able to get gauge on this, and then that's part of the joys of testing a pattern, because the gauge was wrong, because she had knit a bulky version, and this is the Tidal light hat, which is a worsted or an Arran weight kind of hat, as opposed to this really thick bulky one. So we ironed out a few kinks, and to be honest, like, I was not the slowest in the test knit group, but one of the slower ones to do it, because it took me so long to swatch, and also, like, I have a full-time job, so I'm not knitting all of the time. And yeah, it was a really fun experience. I emailed my feedback through a couple of days ago, and the pattern will be released on November 18th. I'm not quite sure what the cost will be, but I think it's a really, really gorgeous hat, and I'm definitely going to make one for myself. The cable pattern was really pretty easy to follow, and yeah, this is the first all over cable thing I've ever made, other than my Latu hat, which I made last year, and it just had that like 2 cables in that front section. So that's it for finished objects, and works in progress. I have just one, which is my Fantasy Stitch shawl, but I am really getting close to the end now. I have finished this spotted, like slip stitch spotted section, and I've done the next 2-row repeat, which is kind of like this. There's in between every new pattern, almost every new pattern, this one doesn't have it, there's a 2-row, either an eyelet row or a just plain garter, and you can kind of see, well, the next row here is going to be in rust on top of this blue, and it's going to be like, it's a garter row like this one. Oh no, that was moss seed stitch. It's a garter row like this one, and then it will go into another eyelet row, and then the border. So I'm really excited that this is nearly done. I was hoping to have it done by the end of November, so that I could start, like, basically Knitmas, or my version of Knitmas, come December, which would just be knitting my advent calendar, but I'm not sure if that's too optimistic. Every time I found a mistake in this so far, I've pulled it out, which I think is why it's taken me so long, except for something that went wrong here. And I did pull it back to try and fix it. It's something that happened, like, I've dropped a stitch, but it's all attached, so there's definitely a hole there. And I think I'm just going to go in before blocking with a little bit of the purple and just like tack it together and tie it off in a knot and then sew it in. It's not super noticeable, but I feel like it might, yeah, be a bit more so when I block it. But yeah, this is nearly done because I decided to make the small size. I think it will grow quite a bit with blocking, like if we just kind of, I might not aggressively block it like I'm kind of pulling it out now, but I think that will be big enough. So yeah, that's it for work in progress, because I'm just exclusively trying to get this done. And what else have I got? What I have actually done is trying to, I guess that's my only active work in progress. What I have done is pulled out all of my other WIPs. So I want to just quickly run through them with you here. And then I'm going to make a decision whether they stay. Do I think that I'll work on them in 2020? Will I frog them, which might need to happen. So first of all is my brioche hat. This is the Fizzle Pop hat. Fizzle Pop? Pop Fizzle by Leslie Ann Robinson, or Knit Graffiti. So I was making this kind of back in June, I think, and I have made a mistake that I just can't fix, and it's really been too long. So I was like too cocky. I got too cocky and I ripped out all of the lifelines bar one. So what I think I'm gonna do is rip out, actually it might be easy to see the lifeline on the other side. Oh, or not. The lifeline is here, so I'm ripping out like 2 and a bit inches of knitting, but I just think that's the easiest way to go. And I would like to finish this, and I'm not talented enough to, and it's been too long now. I know that I've made a mistake because my stitch count is off, and I can see where it was. I'm just not talented enough at brioche to go back and figure out how to fix it. So that's going to get ripped out to the lifeline, and then I would like to finish it. So that one will just be a little bit frogged, and then at some point I will get to that. I have not knit the heel on these socks, so they still need to be worked on. I've got just like a big project, one of my Finch bucket bags, and all of these projects are sitting in there. I found like more notions, so they need to go in a proper bag. And then there's my weekender, which I spoke about a couple of times. It's infuriating because I did the short rows twice. So, and I've spoken how I don't know that I love it. It's going to be enormous. Like, I split for the sleeves, or I split from the body to make the front like 4 inches. Yeah, probably 4 inches. And I don't know where the short rows start. So I really don't know what to do. It's going to be really big and squishy. I could probably try and shrink it in the dryer. So I'm just looking down while I look at it. I was just looking at the reverse stockinette side going, how the hell am I going to do this? But on the normal side, I could definitely put a lifeline in, or just use a needle, like a smaller needle, and pick the stitches up and start again. Or I could just go back to where I split for the sleeves, the bottom bit. It's so hard. It's like it's nearly done. It's not really nearly done at all. It's like to the middle. It's not cropped either, but there's quite a bit. I did a lot of knitting on this, and my gauge has probably changed since then, so it seems like a waste to pull all of that knitting out. But also, like, I know I'm not super happy with it now, so maybe I do just frog it. And it was only 2 balls of yarn, and I've got 2 to go. And there are a few other Arran weight jumpers in my queue that I wouldn't mind making, so I don't know. And then finally, I just found this the other day, my Cozy Memories blanket. So it's only got 24 little bits on it, and I don't love the colors, but it's kind of like supposed to be a memory of everything, all the projects that I'd made. And then this year I was looking at my this week I was looking at my Penguono, and there were quite a few like fingering weight held double that I used, and I have like in this little parcel back there behind me. So I guess what has brought this on is I am getting ready to move home, and I think I may have mentioned, but I'm moving with my parents for up to 10 months. So I really need to have a think about what I want to take with me, because I have a limited space, in the guest bedroom in their house, and be in my car to drive it up to Queensland with me. So I need to decide what projects to bring, but like a square only takes me about half an hour or to an hour, so maybe that's not a bad idea to bring this with me and actually knit on it, and then slowly it would grow into a blanket. Like, I'm knit a lot of things, like my Fanta Stitch, I'm gonna have, you know, 3 colors, and it only takes a couple of grams to do each square. And I think what also got me thinking about that is I have a massive bag of DK weight leftovers too. It's not actually that massive now that I look at it, but these are all kind of like, and so I was thinking, oh well, what do I do with those? Maybe I could also make something like this, or there's the northeasterly blanket. I mean, I don't really knit with DK very often, so like there's not a lot of use for that. Or maybe I make a hat, or it could be really cool to make a pot holder or something. Like, I have to do some Ravelry looking. But the other project that I still have half on the needles is this hat I was making from the wool I bought in Paris. But I don't know what I did here either, because it's gonna be massive. I think it was supposed to be a folded brim. I think I was winging it, to be honest. I don't know that I had a pattern in mind. But I mean, it probably actually wouldn't take that much to finish this now if I do fold the brim up. I could figure out what I was doing and finish that off. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea either, because I quite like the tweedy wool. It was quite soft. But then I think, oh, maybe I just frog it, and like I quite enjoyed that cable one. Like I feel like this would be really nice in that too, but I don't actually know what weight of yarn this is. Actually, there's a, no, wrong pattern. Oh dear. Anyhow, I'll put this one back in that bag of random projects, and yeah, I think I'm maybe a bit reinvigorated for this cozy memory blanket, because I know that I was not enjoying it, and I do even have some little bits of yarn still that haven't been put in there. But when I look at it, I really like the hand-dyed skeins, or the indie-dyed ones, as opposed to like the commercial Regia, which I've started using, like these. That's a Opal or Regia, I'm not entirely sure. Same with this one. And then that was a Knit Picks that I made something for my mum out of. That was my all-time ever favorite color, Enchanted. That's also commercial. And then this is like, oh dear, who was that? Circus Tonic, Sweet Georgia, Knit Picks, Pickle and Co, Hugh Loco, Circus Tonic, and then this one was Fiber Revolution, Hugh Loco, Stylecraft, that's got possum in it, Fiber Revolution, that feels commercial as well, and then that is a little bit of Circus Tonic and some commercial pink yarn too. So I think actually what's been happening is I have been watching a lot of previous Vlogmases, and when I'm watching Vlogmas, people are making things, and I am like, I guess, re-excited by things that I had started before, which is good. So yeah, did I stray from my notes too much? I don't think so yet. That is everything for current and just languishing works in progress. I have Stash-quisitions this week. My Louie and Lola advent calendar arrived on Thursday, which reminds me I haven't posted about that on my Instagram yet, but it came in a compostable postage bag, which a lot of like small shops are using these days, and big ones I guess too. And I was like, oh, it's squishy, because my other one came in a box, but this one's actually come in a special Louie and Lola like cotton bag, and then the days have come like this, so in a little black bag with a sticker that says day 5. So I'm a little bit like, oh, how do I want to set this up, because my other advent kit also comes, my other advent kit came in the box with them all wrapped up. So what I was actually thinking is, when I know what day I'm going home, I'm going to put like days 1 to 18, I think I'll have here before I head to Queensland for Christmas. So I might like line them up on my kitchen table or something, and then every day I get to take one. So yeah, I'm really excited. It came with a Jewels of Christmas advent calendar, and it says Your Louie and Lola Jules of Christmas mini skeins have been done in a progressive palette on our new merino nylon sock, a gorgeous superwash, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. Each 20-gram mini skein has a meterage of 85 meters, and the 100-gram full skein for Christmas Day has a meterage of 425 meters. Sprinkled throughout your advent calendar are some extra special treats and crafting gifts which we hope you will love. We would love to see what you create with your advent calendar. If sharing on social media, please use hashtags whatever. Season's greetings from Louie and Lola Yarns. So I ordered that way back in May using my crafting little fund that I set aside for myself. And I then also went on their website and bought a few things the other day because I'm sending a package to a friend of mine and she likes a particular thing, and I don't want to give it away because she occasionally watches this. And they have like Louie and Lola, their mascots. And so I really wanted to buy something from them. So I did, and I got a few other things. Like I needed a chow goo, the needle stoppers for the small size needles, because I did have a set and I have zero idea where they are. So when I was buying that, I popped in a skein or two of some DK weight yarn for a hat or something else that I have in mind. And yeah, that's it for Stash-quisitions. They haven't arrived yet. I only purchased those this week. And now we move on to blather. And I do need my notes for this because I didn't want to ramble aimlessly. So, my move, I rang the removalist, well, like the company that assigns me a removalist company, and I will not get myself a case manager until December probably. But I just said, look, my lease is up on this date. I really need to have my stuff gone by then. And they said, that's fine. I'd actually had put the right date in my removal request. I just had forgotten what it was. So that is really good, and I guess I'll wait till December. A friend of mine has been approved to take on my lease after I leave, so that's really good for both the landlord and myself. And I'm gonna go home for Christmas. So I'm thinking about the 19th of December I will fly home and spend almost 3 weeks there. And then I will come back here for about the 10th-ish of January. I will start my handover, pack up my house, and I will, pack up my house, and then I'll be on the road. My mum has offered to fly down and drive up to me with me because it's about 15 hours. I haven't decided yet if I want her to come with me. I kind of like the idea of just solo tripping. But also it might be nice to have company for that period of time because it's quite a long drive, and I'll probably do it over, well, I will do it over 2 days. I'll stop overnight somewhere. And then I thought, well, if she's doing some of the driving, then that's knitting time for me. And that might be nice. We haven't got to spend time together, just the two of us. That hasn't been frantically like moving me out of a place or moving me into another one. So that could be good. But I've just said to her, I'll play it by ear because I don't know how I'll feel leaving. A bit sad, but also happy and excited. So we'll see. I am going back to Sydney next week for work for a couple of days. So I've made a few dates to catch up with some friends of mine. So that's really fun, or that's going to be fun. I haven't seen some of these girlfriends in a long time. And then my friends who had a baby back in July, and I have not met their little girl Andy. So I'm going to have dinner with them and maybe stay over the night. That place, probably won't get to Skein Sisters or any of the other yarn shops, which is a little bit disappointing, but I just don't think there's going to be enough time, and I don't have a car, so it makes it a little bit harder to get around the city. Like, there's great public transport, but it just takes time, and I don't really know that with COVID, particularly at the moment in New South Wales, the cases are quite low, but I don't want to like increase my risk further than I have to. But like, I've got masks that I carry and I take when I travel and whatever, so that should be fine. And then the last thing I think I want to talk about is Vlogmas. So I mentioned it last time. I was tossing up whether I do it or not, and I've decided that I want to give it a go. I may not upload every day. I was kind of thinking I might just do a day or two at a time, like just do 1 and 2, edit and upload. But I have actually like started planning what's happening. So I sat down with my calendar and figured out so every day I've got my 2 advents to open up, and then like I said, my life is really boring, so it might only be a 3-minute video that's like, hey me, I'm going for a walk this morning, opening up my advent thing, and then yeah, it could be really boring. And if it is, well, just watch or don't watch, I don't know. So yeah, there's a few things that I've thought about. So I've kind of planned up till the first week of Advent. So I've like got like an appointment. I'd like have the days that I train. I have a day surgery coming up. So I was like, well, I'll take my knitting and I can knit while I wait. And then got my work Christmas party the next day when I'm technically on sick leave, but my boss is happy for me to go because it's just a low-key lunch somewhere. Then my friend is having her early birthday party, and then the next day I might be doing a farewell do here. I've sent off an inquiry to a couple of venues. I haven't heard back anything yet. And then the next day it's like, oh, it's a gym day. So open advance is the only thing that's kind of written here, but that should be good. And as more things come up, that should be fun. So yeah, that's it really. I guess I have decided on my advent calendar, my knit, flip. Oh my god. So with my yarny advent calendars, I've decided with one of them I'm going to make the Habitation throw by Helen Stewart, which I have mentioned before. I was thinking about it, I have decided. I spoke to Tarina from Love and Speckles, who made the first kit that I'm going to use, and she said that it would be beautiful, like with the jewel great gemstone gradient, what did she call it, faceted gemstones. And then there's Louie and Lola one is also the Jewels of Tasmania, it's called, I think, Jewels of Christmas advent calendar. So I don't know which one I'm going to choose. Probably just start whichever day one color I like best, or just give that a go. And then the other one I don't know if I'll use straight away, but I will hold on to that. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's December. Like, I just feel like it's Groundhog Day every day. Like, some days I'm super productive at work, other days I am not, but I just feel like there's a lot of things to squish in such a short period of time, but that's okay. It's also closer to me moving home and leaving my job, and that's all kind of terrifying, but also I feel really at peace with that decision, which I think I've mentioned a few times, so that's good. I still feel that way. I think I've told most people, but then one of my close friends from high school I messaged yesterday, and I was like, oh, hey, it's happening, I'm moving home. I'm home for Christmas, and then I'm home in January. And she said to me, wow, that's really big, you must be really proud of yourself and all the things you've achieved. And I sat back and I was like, yeah, I am really proud of myself, so that's a nice way to go out. But yeah, I will terribly miss my friends that I have here in Canberra. I'm going out for dinner tonight with one of them. I just feel like I'm doing so much socializing recently, which is a bit full on, but also good because I need to see people. I'm catching up with a friend I haven't seen in a while for brunch tomorrow, and she lives near where I'm moving home to, so that'll be really lovely. I met her through work, and then just kind of chilling a bit because I don't want to anyway, I've rambled effectively for 10 minutes now. Thank you so much for joining me today for my ramble and my knitting projects, all of the works in progress. I think I'm gonna just bite the bullet and start to frog this brioche hat. Yeah, like I said in the beginning, if you want to find me online, I'm Mad About You on Instagram, and I'm Madbell on Ravelry. And yeah, I'll see you in a few weeks, hopefully, for another big episode, and maybe I'll have a finished fan to stitch. That's very wishful thinking, but there's going to be a bit of travel time next week, so hopefully that'll be good. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Bye!